It's the reason I've been able to build a 7-figure business despite being an introverted nerd. It's also how you can grow your business faster using these 3 steps. This first one will help you make way more sales, even if you're not good at selling. Take the huge problem Procter & Gamble was facing. No one was buying their laundry products. So they sent their top executives to live with families in Mexico City. They went on shopping trips together, they had dinner together, and of course they did laundry together too. That was the aha moment. The executives experienced firsthand how scarce water was for lower income families, which inspired the launch of a single rinse fabric softener. When it launched, sales skyrocketed. P&G's strategy is something you can use right now to grow your business faster. Get to know your ideal customers. What are their fears and desires? Or more simply, what do they do in their day-to-day life? This will help you create products that they can't wait to buy. But knowing who that person is can be a challenge. Like the time I thought I had found the perfect client. They had an established business. They'd been a part of my audience for a long time. Plus, they seemed ready to do the work. When they emailed me a long list of detailed questions about working together, I thought, great, they're probably a fact finder like me. I happily answered all of them. But then they came back with another set of questions. Things like, can I just do the less pricey mastermind coaching program? The problem was I knew from our conversations that what they were actually looking for was private coaching. They just wanted a cheaper alternative. When you take on clients, you want to notice if they're coming from a place of fear, because that is not a good partnership for either of you. But don't worry about being able to sense someone's fear. I've got a simple checklist for you. First, does your potential client know they have a problem? Like the woman who sold courses to aspiring animation artists. She was already making sales here and there, but it was inconsistent. She didn't want to have to wait for someone to stumble on her website to make sales, but she didn't know what else to do. That's where this next key ingredient comes into play. Does your ideal client want help with their problem? In this case, the answer was heck yes. We worked together to build an automated sales system that now brings in $20,000 to $30,000 a month on the side. But here's where you can encounter a situation that makes you feel, for lack of a better word, scammy. For example, a college admissions consultant reached out to me and said, I want to work with you. They wanted to scale their income. The problem was they were only making $3,000 a month at the time. But my private coaching back then was already $20,000. That is a significant investment for a beginning business. And I'm not the type of coach who'll say, just put it on your credit card. When I told them it probably wasn't the best decision for them yet, they demonstrated the 3rd thing on your perfect client checklist. They said, I have the money saved up, and I know it's going to pay off infinitely over the life of my business. You'll know it's the right person if they have the attitude and mindset to put in the work. In fact, by the end of our time working together, that client had 10x'd their monthly revenue. The truth is, when you find the right client, there's not a lot of selling that needs to happen. But there is one thing most people say you have to be amazing at to make sales. Let's say you've got a potential client on the phone. Everything is going amazing until I'm concerned about the pricing. This is when you're supposed to swoop in with all your objection handling. But this is where you get to build your business your way. If objection handling makes you feel blech like it does for me, then you don't need to do it. Contrary to popular unwisdom, it's not really gonna affect your sales numbers. In fact, the biggest mistake you can make is trying to convince someone. Imagine you're on a first date. The other person spends the entire time boasting about their accomplishments. They drop so many annoying hints that they're the most amazing person on the planet. It's not until you ask the waiter for a to-go box that they say, all right, tell me about yourself. I don't know about you, but I would have checked out a long time ago. If you wouldn't tolerate this behavior on a date, why would you do it to someone who might be a client? Instead, focus on identifying what's going on. The best way you do that? The same way you make a date pleasant. You ask questions. You build a relationship. If your potential client says, I can't afford it, that's okay. In my opinion, it's better to focus on clients who can afford it. Nothing showed me how true this was like this surprise win. When I was super new in business, I offered a free coaching session to help people get to know me. As I finished each of these sessions, I told the person, I hope you got a lot out of this. If you loved what we covered and would like to learn more about potentially working with me, I'd love to share more about my paid offer. This one woman loved my advice, but it wasn't in her budget. At the time, I was upset. I thought maybe I should have addressed her objections more or lowered my price. But a few months later, she referred one of her friends who ended up buying my private coaching. Plus, the price had increased by that point. You never know when your next sale might come in. But you also don't need to worry about it or ever feel like you're selling when you approach your business this way. Your attractor is your free content. In my case back then, it was free consultations, but it can be your Instagram carousels, freebies, or live streams. That helps people get started while also connecting you with potential customers who might want to buy from you. Using this simple step, I saw my business grow faster because I was doing what I love, creating content and being myself. This way, there's also no need to force anything. Your business is stronger when you feel good about it. And isn't that the point of a freedom business? High five to that. But there is something that can make or break your business, especially if sales are not your strength. That's why I place so much emphasis on this third step. It's best explained through the scandal that almost destroyed this car company. Their slogan was literally clean diesel, advertising how environmentally friendly their cars were. But they made the biggest no-no you can make in business. They lied. They were actually cheating the emissions tests with illegal software. What they broke is the most valuable thing you have to make sales. Trust. Trust in you as a person and trust that you can help them specifically. Normally, that's built through testimonials, features in publications, and social proof. But when you're new in business, you don't have that. I didn't either, because we all start in the same place, 0. This is where your secret advantage comes into play. Unlike bigger businesses, you have the time and bandwidth to share more of yourself, but it doesn't have to be in a really gimmicky way. In fact, there are 2 ways you can start doing this right now. First, look through your personal connections. This is the low-hanging fruit. Who is someone you know who might want to hire you? Like the time I reached out to a coworker I'd been informally mentoring. We went to coffee together and I said, hey, I'm going to test and see if I'd want to do this career coaching thing for real. Would you like to do this with me? However, you've got to make it real for both of you. This is why I highly recommend charging even at the beginning stage. It doesn't even have to be a lot. But if you don't have anyone in mind, don't worry. Anyone can do this next level. It takes a bit more time, but it is so worth it. Look for people who are actively wanting a solution. For example, when I started doing advertising consulting, I joined Facebook groups where my ideal clients were. That's when I noticed a woman asking very detailed questions about Facebook ads. When you come across a potential client like this, ask yourself, are they serious about solving their problem? In this case, the answer was a clear yes. So I reached out to her. I said, hey, I am really good at Facebook ads, but I am new to consulting. So if you answer some market research questions for me, I'll help you with all your questions too. Honestly, this is something I could never do today. My business is just too big. But when you are starting out, this can be a total game changer. So over the next 2 weeks, I answered her questions almost every day. What happened next shows you just how important trust is to making sales. She messaged me and said, you have given me so much value for free. I know I can get way more if I hire you. So how can I do that? I wasn't even trying to sell anything at this point. I didn't have anything to sell, but it didn't matter because I had built trust. It is the number one thing you can do to make sales. But once you start making more consistent sales, you're gonna wanna scale your business, because if you don't, you risk burning out and not reaching your goals. But there is a lot of bad advice that wastes your time and money on how to do that. That's why I share the things you can do to avoid those mistakes in this video. It's how I personally reached past my first million in business. You'll see how to grow your dream business smarter and faster.